Hi, it's Stephanie Pruitt. It is day 9 of 30 by 30 by 30, where I'm writing 30 poems in 30 days in relation to works at the 30 Americans exhibit here at the Frisch Center for the Visual Arts in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm outside recording again. It's really a lovely evening, so you might hear the ambient noise around me, which could possibly include cars and a train. The train tracks are nearby, and there's also this large sculpture that I'm sure you will notice if you visit the exhibit and park in the back of the Frisch Center. It's composed of Hum vehicle parts, all painted white, kind of like an iceberg, and there's this recording going of, I think, whales. So you might hear the woo, like Dory from Finding Nemo. There we go. So that's what you might hear in the background. So day 9. Today I drafted a poem in relation to Rodney McMillan's Untitled. Rodney McMillan was born in Columbia, South Carolina in 1969. He currently lives and works out of Los Angeles, California. Untitled was created in 2005, and it is a large piece of carpet. It's actually used, dirty, stained carpet that was in McMillan's grandmother's home. And he later took it out, and it is now installed as part of the 30 Americans exhibit. I will tell you quite honestly, I bristled when I turned the corner and saw this entire wall covered literally in dirty carpet. And I almost held my breath. I imagined that it would smell. I didn't want to get too close to it. It took me a moment, and then to look around and see all of the works that were surrounding it and kind of the company that it's keeping, it made me think, how did you get here? What curator, what collector imagined that you belonged here? So kind of replace the word carpet with something else or someone else, and that conversation takes on a different meaning. I don't know if that's fully the point. It's part of what I got out of it, and that in itself was valuable. But even still, I'm having to convince myself that this dirty carpet is fine art. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Let me read the draft of the poem. How are you worth my time and attention? Worth the creative muscle flex it takes to be in this place? Dirty carpet. I don't want to be near you or smell you or be seen considering your presence. Dirty carpet. Don't want to imagine your life or whereabouts or see the value in the idea of you. Dirty carpet. I imagine your germs jumping on the sleeve of my cerulean sweater. Could your image possibly rub off on me if I stand too close? Dirty carpet. Who would bring you here and even imagine you belong among the beautiful others? What gall, what nerve, what very big hairy stained balls you have. Dirty carpet. You make it hard on the rest of us already trying to prove our worth. Dirty carpet. So that's the draft. I mean, you can see the possible exchange that I'm making here in ideas and people. But honestly, even when I reached that point, I was still pushing against my initial ideas of this not being art. How can dirty carpet be art? And part of it is because I so deeply appreciate the creative process and all that goes into reaching a point where you can call yourself a full-time artist or a professional artist. I mean, it's education, it's taking classes and workshops, it's reading, it's studying, it's traveling and hearing and viewing and considering all the artwork that's come before you and knowing that context is craft and craft and craft and practice and practice and practice. And so the idea of cutting carpet out of your grandmother's home and calling it fine art because it's placed in this context of being around other fine art felt like almost an imposter. And so I had to work through that. But then I stopped and I asked myself, Stephanie, why are you working so hard against the possibility of this carpet belonging here? And when I started to think in that way and really reflect more on myself and my thoughts and why I was thinking that way, it helped me to kind of see the value. I mean, this whole conversation, you can get the sense of why do we want certain things, or why are we comfortable with certain categorizations of fine art, folk art, hobbyist, crafting, all of these things. We have these categories that we want to place things neatly in. And I think it's important contextually to understand the craft of what goes into each piece and how it's actually being considered and judged and valued. I believe in that type of organization. At the same time, when I find myself acting as a gatekeeper, as kind of a mental gate or conceptual gatekeeper of what belongs and what doesn't, I have to check myself and see why. What do I have invested in this dirty carpet not being part of the 30 Americans exhibit? Why do I not want people to see this and think of Black people, basically? And, is it something more than that? Is it really as simple as that type of image thing? I don't know. I mean, and then I also think, who paid and how much did they pay for this carpet? But then I stop and I say, you know what? There is actually something really interesting in the fact that Rodney McMillan took the time to save this carpet. I mean, what was he imagining and thinking about his grandmother and her home and all of the people who had been there, the steps they had taken? And there is something interesting in that thought process that hadn't occurred to me before. So still, I'm racking my brain trying to place this carpet in a more comfortable place for me. Is it even about my comfort? Can I don't know. There's a lot happening here, a lot I'm still thinking about and having to reconcile with myself in terms of having this kind of fence, I guess, around my idea of what is art and what isn't. Is it the end result? Is it the thought process? Is it the materials? At what point can I say this is fine art and this is not? And then what words, what categories, what people, what places can that whole kind of idea represent? Remove fine art, remove dirty carpet, and put certain people in that sentence. And what is that conversation like? I don't know. I'm still working on this one. All right, y'all. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Today you see the number 4, and tomorrow you'll see the number 5. Take care.